The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
Here we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, thanks. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark.
Good morning. I'm Nico DeHaan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world to regain our health and regain our rights and freedoms. And it's a beautiful morning here in downtown Clearwater. Well, not too beautiful. It's 39 degrees, so it's pretty chilly here. But I have a great guest. His name is Steve Lane, and he is a primal health coach. And I met Steve at Gracie Baja Clearwater. So he practices Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has a nice record there. He's an awesome guy, so we're going to get right into it. I would like to remind folks, first of all, to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. $10 a month gets you 2 issues on the first and third Tuesday of every month. And, of course, Primal Edge. Go get it. It's only $89, and it'll go to your front door every single month so you can be healthy. So, Stu, welcome to... Is it Steve or Stu?
Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
And now is S-T-E?
S-T-E. It's
Is that
actually
short
just
for-
Stephen, yeah.
Oh, it's Stephen.
But
Okay,
yeah,
you-
in the north of England, we don't do the Steve,
Uh-huh.
so it's just Steve. So
Steve.
that's it.
I like it. I like it. Yeah, both have unusual names.
Yeah, definitely.
So I met you, I think last year, was it? Or the
Yeah,
year
it
before?
was. Well, I've been coming sporadically to this area, so I think the first time I saw you was a couple of years ago when
Yeah.
Eduardo was still in town.
Right.
And you quickly kind of see what's happening. I was impressed with how well you was moving and how often you was on the mats for an older guy.
Oh,
right.
cool.
And I was like, that's awesome. And then you get to know each other a little bit, you talk a little bit, and
Yeah.
I figured out that you was invested in health, invested in the way you live, invested in what you eat. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, because if you look after this thing, you can use it for a long time.
Yeah, and then that's definitely been my philosophy. So you've been in this realm of kind of primal eating and primal movement for about 10 years.
Yeah,
and
a
that's
long
kind
time.
of what I've been doing for
Yeah.
about 10 years too. So how did it start for you?
Right. So I definitely I've been deep in the literature and the books and reading and listening to podcasts and absorbing it all for, definitely close to a decade. But obviously then putting me back at like 18, 19 years old was learning it and not really living it that much.
Okay.
I was at university, I was doing that. So you've got these temptations of partying and things like that. And I
And
knew...
at that time you were in England. at
Yeah,
that
I
time.
was in England, yeah. But then what happened is we spoke, that we met during Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and that was a segue for me after a short career in MMA, which is mixed martial arts.
Right.
So I was doing that and wanted to get the leg up on competition, wanted to understand how to cut weight efficiently, wanted to understand how to fuel my body, and was coming at that from a very standard performance dietitian dream of, starting the day with oatmeal and skim milk
Right,
and
right.
snacking and eating every couple of hours, but not like always having a hard time cutting the weight and not performing as good as I wanted to. And as I started to dive into this, this ancestral lifestyle and pattern really resonated with me, and I started to slowly put it into my life, and then everything started to click. And then after that, there was a no-brainer for me. I was never going to go back to the standard Western diet, and really just started to live that. And as we've gotten, further into my future, just that's become, 100% of my life. So been learning about it for a long time, really been living it for, 5 years, and just really diving deep in it and making it a part of my life.
Of course, movement of any kind was in your bailiwick all along.
Yes.
So I think that, and for me too, I was always real active, and then you're always kind of searching for that health thing.
Right, exactly.
And what's the magic formula? And that's what really led you to the other thing. But
Yes.
incorporating movement into a primal lifestyle, I think, is one of the key things to make you vested into it, because you understand processes a lot better.
100%. And movement, like you said, it's always been there in some form, shape, or variety. And the way I move today is much different than the way I used to move. But I grew up always moving, from being younger to enjoying being being on a skateboard and skating and just
Yeah.
enjoying that freedom of trying to jump down little steps on my skateboard. And that transitioned into playing rugby. And I played rugby at a high level. And then that moved on to martial arts and then into jiu-jitsu and then into MMA. And then where I am right now, where I still do jiu-jitsu, but I'm very invested right now in things like gymnastics style movements and animal style movements and more like reconnecting with just how to move this meat package that we have as good as possible.
Now, your website is peakprimalhealth.com.
That's
You can
right.
go to that, folks, and take a look. And there's a great picture of him. I'll put it on the telestrator here of you standing on your hands on some wood.
Yeah, that's in Ecuador. They're, the top of they have a gate, the swing to the gods, and it is a really cool spot. And there's me a couple of years ago playing with a poor form handstand that looks much better these days, I promise. So
So let me see. So you started eating about 4 or 5 years ago, more
Yeah,
along the
more along the
primal
lines, yeah.
line. So in England, is food more accessible or less accessible than the United States?
yeah, I guess it depends what you're looking at. I mean, in terms of getting all of the junk food snacks and all these imported goodies, it's harder, which is a good thing. You know,
Right,
we've got
okay.
more access, it feels, to real food that's grown locally and is more sustainably raised. And unfortunately, it's definitely drifting away from that as population grows, as consumerism grows. But generally speaking, food is cheaper, it seems to be better quality, and it's just more real. There's more focus on real food rather than this kind of junk food that we get out of boxes and packages and we can just throw in an oven. And that stuff is there, don't get me wrong, but English people like real hearty food. It's meat and vegetables, and,
Right.
and there's a lot more real food than there is now. Transitioning and living in America and seeing that and watching the way that children eat and things like that, there's a big disconnect.
Now, is there a lot of promotion for food in England like there is here? We have a lot of...
Yeah, a lot, like advertisements and things
Yeah,
like that. You mean,
yeah.
no, not in the same respect. I mean, I always remember there's a lot for cereal, like breakfast cereals,
Right.
which is, again, as you know, that's not the best way to start the day at all.
No, but it's
what they'll
something that's
preach.
really sustainable for the food manufacturers.
Yes, exactly. It's cheap and it keeps people, keeps people eating that stuff. But no, not in the respect that you see it here, that it's plastered on
What
billboards
about drugs
and
now?
advertisements.
Because I think the biggest advertisers in America now are with drugs.
Right, that's right.
Is that happening also?
No, it's still illegal in England.
It is?
America, there's only one other country in the world that allows that, advertising of
Is that
drugs
right?
during commercials. You know what it is?
No.
It's New Zealand.
Oh, really?
So it's only the United States and it's New Zealand that can advertise during like TV commercials
Right.
for drugs.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious when you actually watch and listen to them that they, show these happy pictures of running through the forest and all smiles, and then the disclaimer comes that's 3
Yeah,
minutes
30
long.
seconds.
And this is
3
how
minutes, yeah.
this is going to kill you in all
Yeah.
these ways. No, so that's fortunately not in England yet, and hopefully that stays that way.
Yeah, that's for sure, and I would love it to be cut out here.
Yeah.
So now, what you're doing now is really coaching people not only in movement, but really in the whole lifestyle.
Exactly.
Sort of our philosophy of the show here
Yes.
is living a primal lifestyle. So how do you go about getting your customers? And of course, they're on this site, peakprimalhealth.com.
Yeah.
And they get a hold of you. What happens?
So using, the great technology we have these days, a lot of, all of my clients, bar one actually, are, online coaching. So we jump on FaceTime or Skype. They find me somehow, whether it's word of mouth or through something like this, and then they kind of shoot me an email, we book in, and then we schedule a call. We get on the call and we figure out a plan for them. We go through this whole thing. What is the ancestral lifestyle?
Okay, let's get into it a little bit more after the break.
Yeah.
Folks, stick around. I'm here with Steve Lane, and it's peakprimalhealth.com. Stick around, folks. We'll be right back and pick up your Primal Edge right now. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And welcome back, folks. Nico DeHaan here. I'm with special guest Steve Lane, Primal Health Coach at peakprimalhealth.com. We're talking about how he got started and how he gets his clients. And you mentioned that they call you and they set up a little
yeah,
get
that's
together
it.
to talk.
On the website there's a book online tab. It takes you to like an online calendar, so you know you can fix whatever time you want, and that is only to schedule a discovery call. And that's free, and it's 30 minutes because I want to get to know you, I want you to get to know me, and I want you to ask a few questions and figure out what this thing is about. And if we can come to, you know, like an agreement and you like what you hear, then we put a plan in place, 30-day, 60-day, 90-day plans to overhaul your lifestyle, teach you about the ancestral lifestyle, and obviously the shorter the program is more nutrition based, and as we get into longer programs we can really impart the lifestyle factors too and these movement factors. And so we do that. That's my primary goal, is to educate people on how to live primally, educate people on how to put this in and really reclaim the health back, and then love to do the other stuff with the movement, kettlebell training, jiu-jitsu, all of that other stuff. Anything that's healthy, anything that's moving.
Right. So the type of person that comes to see you, is this somebody who's already motivated and doing stuff already, or are they starting from scratch and say, look, I'm overweight, I got to eat, I want to live longer, I want to be healthy?
Right. I would say more so of the latter. I have a couple of clients that are kind of performers, and they want to access peak performance, and they really want to like level up, and they see that, you know, I move well and things like that, so they come at it from that perspective. But most people that I'm working with, most people that I'm helping are your standard, you know, American standard English people that are a little bit older and they've just lost their health a little bit, you know. They've lost the way they look down, they don't like the way they look, they don't wake up with a vigor and a you know, like a enthusiasm toward the day, and they just want to get that back, and they have no clue what to eat anymore. Because if you know, if you're on social media, if you're reading the news, you'll see that it's just a different message every single day. Is saturated fat bad for you or not? Is carbs the way to go? Is fat the way to go? Keto's trendy now. Like, what is it? Nobody knows. So they're coming to me and they're just like, usually, I've tried every diet there is. I've had this yo-yo classic, you know, kind of model, and I want something sustainable. And it's really good because we can get those people that are sustainable. When you give them the why, when you teach them, they can really have something that even if they just do 30 days, they've picked up tools that they can use for years, you know, the rest of their life to reclaim the health. So
Yeah. So typically a person calls you, they get the discovery, they get excited about it, then you start putting in a program.
Yeah.
How do you determine which program? Is it up to them to see how much of a commitment? Because you have
Yeah.
on the website you have a 30-day, you have the 60-day, you have the 120-day, 90-day.
Yeah.
So it really depends on finances, of course, too.
It depends on that, yeah. And obviously, I like to push the longer programs, not to line my own pockets, just because over 90 days of coaching, you speaking to me on a daily basis, having these weekly check-ins, going into in-depth and all of this, it really makes it more of a lifestyle rather than just a hobby. You know, some people, if everybody can commit to something for 30 days or 21 days and they can, you know, they can create a new hobby, but how do you then turn that into a lifestyle? How do you make sure that when I'm removed from the equation as coach, that you're able to do this thing for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years or however long you want to do it? And when you do this, you'll know that you're going to want to do it for the rest of your life because it makes you feel good.
Right.
So 90 days seems to be this magic number, this 12-week number that if you do this and we dive into all of these things, not only are you leaving with a new appreciation for food and life, you've learned a lot. Like it's an internship, if you will, about how food reacts in the body, how important stress management is, how important it is to prioritize sleep, how important it is to move your body, and why. So I like the longer programs, of course, because as you know, being down this rabbit hole for a decade now, you learn new things every single day.
Yeah.
So to expect somebody to come in 30 days and have all the answers when they leave is
Right.
unrealistic.
No,
90 days
it is a
more
kind of a
realistic.
lifetime journey, no doubt about
It is,
that.
100%. The journey. Journey's a good word.
Yeah. I had a thought and it just left
Right.
me. One of the things that really impacted me was just feeling good after, you know, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Where before you were thinking, okay, this is hurting you and
Right.
it's sore. And what I found out, because of the diet that we're on, we have less inflammation, and that's what really makes you feel good. Where do you think society really went wrong as far as, you know, the lifestyle that like the average American, maybe the
Right.
average Englishman has? What is really wrong with our society that we don't know these things instinctively anymore?
Right. Well, we've lost the way, haven't we? I think that, you know, you look at very stereotypical diet and lifestyle advice and you'll hear things like, you know, just eat less and move more.
Okay.
But our modern society, like, it's so at odds with our genes, because if you really look at it, we're wired to eat more and move less. We're wired to overeat. We're wired to, you know, want to just, you know, coast through life. Our genes are so at odds with our modern lives in terms of the fact that we don't know how to handle this modern stress that we have, like in our face 24/7, constantly thinking about emails, looking at phones, being bombarded with all of this stimulus. And then you throw on top of that we've lost an appreciation for real food, right? We're so just obsessed with work and getting from appointment to appointment that we
Right.
grab and go hyper-palatable foods that have completely hijacked our reward centers. We've lost the art of cooking and all of these things that make us feel good and just grabbing and going, takeaways, drive through everything. And it's people are doing it, I think, because they want an easier life.
Yeah.
And in that respect, when you think about it very rudimentary, you're like, well, why would I cook when I could just drive through the McDonald's drive-thru and pick something up? But you have to realize that has a giant knock-on effect. And I think that everybody is just so they've lost, focus.
Yeah, I like what you said, that we're really meant to eat more and do less.
Yeah.
That's the primal part of
Right.
us. And that's really what gets us in trouble, because if you kill a large animal, which is what we used to do,
Right.
then you'd gorge yourself and take the rest back.
Exactly.
There's no doubt about that.
Because you
And-
never knew when the next famine was coming.
Exactly.
So life is this feast and famine,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, in our modern world, we've lost the famine and we just feast every day.
Exactly. And they're not feasting on
And they're
something
not
that's
feasting
really
on good stuff, no.
Because one of the things I've found, too, and my wife is big on this, too, is when we eat the protein and the fat first
Yeah.
that comes along, and then whatever, if we're hungry, we'll eat more.
Right.
And kind of foreign thing compared to what everybody's telling you, because we're told to eat 7 to 10 servings of fruit and
Servings,
vegetables and things like that. And I barely ever touch those things.
Ever,
and I try to get things in season and indigenous to the area.
Yes.
Which in
yes.
Florida
which
is
is
a big
important.
problem.
Which is important.
Yeah, and if you look at what's being grown in Florida these days, is completely different than
Right.
was grown,
Right.
naturally. And I'm sure in England it was that way too.
Exactly, yeah. But you can walk into any supermarket around here and get the most exotic fruit if you want to, but it's
Right.
imported from Papua New Guinea and
Right.
Mexico and all of this stuff. So again, this, you know, I always say that I think we would see a big shift if people even just had to walk to the grocery store and bring what they bought back, because they wouldn't buy all the crap knowing that they have to walk a mile
That's
back.
a good point,
Right? You know, just like that art of even having vehicles introduced into the equation where now we can put 20 bags in the trunk with all of this crap
Yeah.
has kind of led us astray. So
Yeah, I would love to see communities start. You know, we have these nice large communities. Unfortunately, in Florida, they're mostly 55 and
Yeah,
over,
yeah.
which really is discriminating against part of a population,
Right,
I feel.
right.
But it'd be nice to have a community with no cars where you could leave the cars outside the community,
Right.
and then you walk everywhere. And
oh my God, that would
just
be amazing.
An ideal thing.
It would be amazing, and we have the weather for it here.
Yeah, that's for sure. Stick around. I'm with Steve Lane at peakprimalhealth.com. We got a lot more coming up, so please stick around. Take a look at his website. Give him a call. What's your phone number, by the way?
516-344-7179.
The number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to talk to Stu. Stick around, folks.
Would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. I'm with Steve Lane from peakprimalhealth.com, and he's a primal health coach. A friend of mine goes through Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That's how we met. And before the break, we were talking really about the dumbing down of our population. And one of the things I mentioned to you before was back in, I think it was Cambridge, they were doing some testing on genius.
Right.
And they were determining that the population of the Earth has about 2% genius.
Right.
So they decided to see how different populations in different age groups had that type of genius in them. And so they did testing. They came up with this real simple test that anybody can take. And they did it on 1-year-old, 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, and 30-year-olds. So on the 1-year-old, they found that 98% of them were at the genius level.
Okay.
At the 5-year mark, it was down to 70%. At the 10-year mark, it was a 32%.
Wow.
And it was 12% at 15. And by the time you're 30, you're in the 2% if you're still a genius.
Wow.
So there's kind of the proof of the dumbing
That's
down.
the proof in the pudding, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's our whole society. And of course, when I start talking about society and how we've changed, I have to go to the first thing that changed, which was not really fire, but was agriculture.
Right.
The seeds. And I always contend, well, we went to these things because we had to,
Right.
because the other things were gone.
Right.
The large animals were gone.
Right.
And this is kind of how it was determined that around 10,000 years ago, and that's when we knew the last ice age ended. And probably through an ice age, you're not growing a lot of things. You're just going after
I
animals.
don't think so, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way I see it for me. So the dumbing down is definitely, so now our job, I guess, as coaches is to get those dumb people back up again.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't think that is a terrible surprise. It's scary to see and see studies like that. But when you just look at where the diet trends have gone in terms of what people are eating, is it really a surprise when you know how certain foods respond in the body? Like, if we just have a full-blown sugar burner that's just eating junk food, carbohydrates all day, the brain doesn't have the nutrition that it needs. The brain needs these healthy fats, and the brain will actually atrophy in these environments where we're just feeding it with sugar and high fructose corn syrup and fake foods and trans fats and all of these rancid vegetable oils. And that is the bulk of the diet for the most modern, westernized person now, and that's very sad. And I think that will be shown, and that will keep going until people like us, until this whole movement can take over, and hopefully at some point in the future become the mainstream, and we can kind of, this is kind of like the re-evolution diet. We've got to look at where we came from and how good we were and get back to that.
That's a nice term too, re-evolution.
Yeah.
Because we've gone backwards, now we have to go forward. The other thing too is the whole society structure around agriculture changes, because before everybody was pretty much equal.
Right, exactly.
Even though we had a chief and we had a medicine man, they were more specialists than actually the person who made the decision, because we know that in primitive life, it was actually the female that was the wisdom at the head of everything.
Right.
So agriculture really changed that, because now the man is in charge.
Right, and everybody was working towards a common goal, right? To bring the tribe forward, to keep surviving, where that's not really the case anymore. Everybody is just, this is my little box. These are my family, this is who I look after, and kind of, everybody else can forget about it. We lock ourselves away.
And in a sense, too, when you say that, it just reminds me, because of the iPhone, the iPad, it's not a community anymore, it's I. We're even divided from our family.
Right.
Because now we're communicating with this,
100%.
not with the other people so much.
Yeah, we're losing real human interaction, and you can see it. Like, I'm sure if you ever go out to eat and you look at a family of four sitting at the table across from you, there's a good chance that all four of them are looking at the phones. Like, they're sitting with their loved ones and they're not even looking each other in the eyes and talking. They're talking through these devices, and they might even be, I'm Snapchatting myself and I'm sending it to you even though you're sitting there. It's like,
that is pretty nuts.
What is crazy?
And of course, what is crazy too is when you see a woman going down the street with her baby, and then she's on the phone or texting,
and the baby's got one.
Maybe so. Yeah, that's, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's pretty scary.
I tell you, those little brains are getting hijacked. They're just
so often people ask me if I'm going to start with something, what should I start with?
Right. I have two, and I think the one that I usually start with first off is to get rid of all added sugar from the diet, and to realize that it's also everywhere, and you don't necessarily, until you start looking at labels, until you start being mindful of this, you might be consuming a lot of hidden sugar that you don't know about, sweetened beverages, things like that.
Yeah, and a lot of those are hidden under different terms that you may not recognize.
Right, a lot of clever little terms that the marketing has kind of skirted around there now, from concentrate, all of this kind of stuff, all of these different names for high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, natural flavors, all of that stuff that really isn't natural, but they get them in there. And No,
Yeah.
natural flavors sounds good.
So it sounds like your philosophy is that the food really does come first then.
I fully think so, yeah. I say to my clients that 80% of this entire equation of health is to do with the food.
Okay.
The other 20% is important. It's how you really optimize, and that's made up of things like stress management, human relationships, sleeping well, moving well. But from a complete overhaul of health, it has to come from the food. It's the biggest driving factor of, like you said, systemic inflammation. All of these, systemic inflammation is the great disease marker.
Yeah.
You don't find any of these chronic diseases that we suffer from in this environment without chronic disease at the root cause. So let's get that under control first. That's going to come under control. We're going to start to lose weight. We're going to start to come down, lose body fat. We're going to naturalize it. We're going to take control of our hunger hormones again. We're not just going to be hardwired to just eat because we're getting that insulin spike and crash. And then you get the food in line and you work on that, and then you start to add in the other stuff. Now we start to talk about, like, what's your technology exposure look like? Can we do a little bit of a technology fast? Can we cut the time off that? How often are you sleeping?
And that's because of the blue light and also the fixation of it itself.
Exactly,
It's not only the light, but there's a lot of things involved.
Right, 100%. Just mindlessly grabbing your phone in times of quiet and scrolling through, just doing this kind of thing, when instead it's okay to be quiet with your own head. A lot of people aren't comfortable being quiet with their own mind and just seeing what comes up and thinking, and it's meditation in a way like that. But most people are very uncomfortable with that. We're hyper distracted now, and we've got so many things around us and all these fancy blue lights. We're hardwired to latch onto things, and if our environment is set up for that, we're going to be constantly flicking from one thing to the next instead of, turn the lights down, light a candle, and sit and breathe, and maybe get into a yoga pose or something and just see what comes up.
Cool.
So that's like it's another, the food is the basis of all things health, and then all of that other stuff, all of it, the lifestyle, it's really 10x that, but the food is key.
Yeah. Now, you told me during the break that you have clients here in America, but you still have clients. You've been here for quite a while now. You're just about getting ready to get your green card, and your wife is an American citizen, so the path is open for you. I'm really impressed that you still have your English clients.
Yeah, and that's good too. I think just because, like, it's funny that we're talking about technology, but also it's a huge part of my work, and without the technology there's no way I could work with English people. But we can jump on a FaceTime or Skype call so easily that it keeps that relationship open, and it really doesn't matter where your coach is in the world now. If you can see my face and I can see you and we can have this real interaction, there's still value in that. So technology is great in that respect, but we've just got to know how and when to use it, and not too much is the key. So yeah.
Sounds great. Okay, folks, we're up on a break here. The number here is 877-927-6648. I'd like to remind you to pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Got a new one coming out next week, so stick around for that. Pick up our Primal Edge, over 310 cell-ready liquid ingredients, all powered by fulvic and humic acid to get the good stuff in and get the bad stuff out. We'll be right back. You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most active actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back to the show. My special guest, Steve Lane, a primal health coach at peakprimalhealth.com. And so we've covered quite a bit here. What I really want to now dig into is, what is your passion about this? Why the switch? I know for myself, I've always been searching for that thing. And, only 10 years ago, so I was 63 when I started living kind of primal. And all that time, those 60 years, most of it was spent digging into what's the best diet for me and switching, never finding it until, there it is.
And that's it, right? The light bulb moment. Bing.
Yeah, so here you were a young man. What was the motivation that got you started?
It was actually a really tough realization and watching people in my family pass away from very young. Like, as young as I can remember being a kid, I remember people dying from scary diseases like cancer and heart disease. Okay. And that's hard to see. Aunties, uncles, grandparents, all taken way before the time. Young people that, you're very close to, good people, they didn't do anything bad, and they were sideswept by this terrible disease. Cancer being in my family, we have a long line of that.
Me too.
And, very, very scary to come up in a time where you hear your own mother talk about preemptively getting a mastectomy just because she's so scared of getting breast cancer.
Yes.
And, you're watching your dad have to lose both of his parents inside a few years to cancers, and then living in a society where we kind of just put this, roll of the dice mentality towards things like cancer and Alzheimer's and dementia, that hopefully you're just going to grow old and hopefully you don't get them.
Well, they also say it's in your genes, perhaps, too.
Right, like this genetic piece to this. And so that was scary, because I'm coming up in this time, I'm watching everybody I know, family, get sick, and I'm looking at myself, and I was a heavier kid, right? I had 2 heavier parents, and I'm looking, and I start to think, this isn't going to end well unless I take charge of this. And then once I had the means and capability to dive in and start reading and looking at some literature and books, you start to realize that you're not fixed, right? Your genes, yes, they're important. Your familial predispositions can load the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger, and that's one of the most important things I always like to stress.
And we control our environment.
We control the environment.
Exactly.
The environment that we foster with what we eat, how we move, how we sleep. So yeah, remember that. Your familial predispositions, whatever it is, diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, yeah, they mean something. They can load the gun, but your environment, what you foster, pulls the trigger, and that's very important because it gives you this now freedom from disease.
Right.
You now understand that you don't have to follow suit. You don't have to go down that path. And if you can do these things with diet and lifestyle, then you can live a happy, long, healthy life. Yeah. And what you just said there was really cool, that you were 62 before finding Primal Lifestyle, right?
Pretty
before
much.
that, you was like bouncing around and trying to find the right thing. And here's the amazing thing about the body is we can, and we do as humans, like abuse our body so much, and it can take decades for this insidious weight gain to happen. It takes decades for these cancers to grow and these diseases to spread. But as soon as we take charge of that, as soon as we start to fuel our bodies right and move our bodies right, the body is this self-regulating, self-healing organism that has a propensity to go towards healthiness. So even if you're older, even if you find it late, as long as you start doing the right stuff, the body will reward you for your efforts, and it really will give you that abundance in terms of, like what you said, immediately you felt it after jiu-jitsu, like, wow, I don't feel as stiff, I don't feel as sore. Like, the body will go towards health if you give it the right tools to do so, and that will free you from disease, it will free you from being heavy, it will free you from all of those aches and pains and niggles.
Yeah, my discovery at age 62, 63 came at the same time that I was starting jiu-jitsu. So
Right.
both of them came along the same line. One, because my sister handed me a book
Right.
by Mark Sisson, the Primal.
Mark Sisson, the
Yeah.
Primal Godfather.
Yeah. And the other thing was Eduardo telling me about what they ate
Right.
in Brazil.
Right.
Even though we're eating a lot of fruits and stuff, that makes a lot of sense down there.
Right.
But
More equatorial.
yeah,
things like
and
that,
of course
yeah.
they're eating the indigenous stuff too.
Yeah.
But that kind of started me looking. He says, you have no idea. If you go to a farmer's market, you don't have to go to a farmer's market in Brazil.
Right.
Because the food is everywhere.
Right.
The street vendors
It
have
is
all
a
the
farmer's
freshest.
market,
It is
yeah.
a farmer's market, yeah. And I think Europe is that way too.
Yes.
I'm not sure if England is that way too.
It's more so than here,
Yeah.
and again, it's losing touch with that, which is the problem. We need to put the reins on where we're going as a society, because we're losing that real food connection.
Yeah.
And unless you literally try now, unless you pull yourself away from that, like we was talking about it before the show started, it's hard in this modern environment to be a healthy person, because again, you've just got all of these temptations at it's hard to seek
You're
out
bombarded
food.
with
Yeah.
the bad stuff, for
No,
sure.
if you want a piece of meat that is grass-fed and grass-finished, you've almost got to know a farmer and be able to trust them and tour the farm, because
Yes.
you can't even trust what's on labels in a lot of respects these days. Like,
Right.
what does grass-fed even mean when you see it in a supermarket anymore? Because it's not very tightly regulated and
Yeah.
all of those things. So
Yeah,
you
you
have
know.
to make an effort.
Yeah, you have to really know the person.
You
I
do,
think.
you
Yeah.
do.
There's a couple of stores around here that do pretty well.
Yeah.
But the farmer, I think, is still the best route
The
to
farmer's
go.
the best, yeah. Try and cut out as many middlemen as you can.
Yeah, because then, of course, you're getting to the source and you get to know this person.
Yeah.
And when you get to know the person and the food that they're supplying you, that really becomes a beautiful friendship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this whole symbiotic relationship that we have between actually eating our food and being mindful of where it came from, and mindful that that piece of animal that you're eating at that time and those vegetables are healing you and they're good for you, and actually having some mindfulness towards that, instead of just, you walk to the supermarket, you pick it up, you don't think about it, you throw it in a pan, you eat it. The food, that was a life at one point too, and that's serving us to regenerate us and help us, and that's very important to kind of have a more mindful approach to that. The closer you can get to the source, the more real that is, and the more your health will benefit, and the more we can help farmers like that. We can help people keep healthy, and it's hard.
Now, I find everybody who goes down this path of seeking this, sooner or later stumbles across the Weston Price site.
Yeah.
And you did too?
Yeah.
Yeah, that really opened my eyes to another facet of things. Of course, we know even like Primal Body, Primal
Yeah.
Mind, Nora Gagatis, all about the meat and stuff like that. What was interesting about the Weston Price to me was, you can still eat some of these things that we say are no good if you do this to them.
Right. If you properly soak and ferment them, and
Right.
to remove the bad stuff,
Right.
with traditionally fermented beans and things like that.
Exactly,
Yes.
yeah. I remember my mother used to make pea soup once a
Right.
week in the wintertime, and
Right.
she would soak those peas for like 2 days
Right.
and throw out the
Yeah.
water with fresh water. And that's what made it a not really healthy food, at least what I call them is food extenders.
Right,
In
exactly.
other words, the meat is the main thing. Now we don't have as much meat, so we want to extend that.
Right.
What do we use?
Right.
And one of the beautiful things in history I point to a lot is white rice.
Right.
With the Japanese and the Chinese knew thousands of years ago that the brown rice was not the
Yes,
thing to
they
do.
do it, and they were very happy to offload that and sell it.
Yeah.
I was touring Vietnam, and our tour guide was like, I don't know why, but the Americans love the brown rice, so we just pack that up, and it's dirty rice, and we just sell it to them. They didn't want it. It's very funny that, and then we're over here because healthy whole grains, so we're trying to do everything, you know, brown rice, brown pasta, whole wheat bread, and all of this, and it's very funny that you're right. They knew a long time ago.
A long time ago, and I had a dentist come train with me last month, and he knew nothing about Weston Price, and most dentists don't. It's pretty interesting.
Very interesting.
Stick around, folks. We got one more segment coming up, and it's all about Steve Lane at the Primal Health Coach at peakprimalhealth.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit tfnn.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
That night is 53.
Right. Crazy.
Welcome back, folks. I'm here with Steve Lane from peakprimalhealth.com, and you're a primal health coach. I like that term, primal health coach, because that really focuses it in on where we're going with this.
And you said that you mentioned the guy. This is I'm one of Mark Sisson's primal health coaches. So this is Mark Sisson's launched his coaching community, and you know he's kind of. He's not one of the founding fathers, but he's definitely one of the people that have brought this ancestral lifestyle to the front, to the forefront with Mark's Daily Apple and stuff like that. Yeah. So Mark's a great dude.
So why should people come and see you?
I just think I have a really good blend of realistic how to impart this into your lifestyle with a good basis on I'm very up to date. You know, I really do like to say that I'm evidence-based and keep up to date with the literature. So I have a nice rapport with all of my clients. I give people tools on how to put this into the lifestyle rather than just saying, you know, eat this, eat that. Right. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you examples and I'm going to coach you through. So with online coaching, we live in an amazing time where if you ever run into a roadblock, if you're ever struggling, then I'm one text, I'm one email, I'm one call away. We can guide you through that. And I think a lot of people intuitively know what they should be doing to better their health. You know, they want to eat a little less junk, they want to move a little bit more, but it's easy knowing what you should do. It's difficult doing it. So sometimes to have that person there that can hold your hand through it and keep you accountable is very important. I think that I add that piece. And working with me, you're gonna get all the answers that you need. You're gonna be able to find out. We're gonna dive into all kinds of things and other ways we can 10x your life through biohacking methods. And we're really just gonna make you more primal, get you moving better, get you living better, get you feeling better.
So besides, you know, doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you did some MMA, you took karate, you did a little boxing. So these are all great movements.
Yeah.
What about your education? Where did you start there?
So I have a BSc from England in sports therapy, so massage, rehabilitation, how to move the body. So that also adds that functionality to me, just enjoying movement, to be able to see movement patterns and identify muscle imbalances and weaknesses and really train people in that respect. And, you know, love working with the kettlebells, love strength training, love doing it all, just moving the body and helping people, because I've never met anybody that has regretted investing in the health. It's the best investment you can make.
Yeah, it's the only investment we really need.
It's the only one.
Yeah.
When everything else is said and done, health is it. That's it, you know?
Yeah.
It's the only thing.
So, what's the one thing you want people to know about you as a primal health coach?
I think that I am always happy to help. This is truly my life. I'm not in this to make a ton of money. I'm in this to change lives. And when I receive an email or a phone call and it's a client on the other end that says, all I can say is thank you because my life has changed, that means so much to me. That's exactly, we talk about purpose a lot and having a why and living it, and I think that is it for me. I really want to help people, and I'm trying to find the best platform to do that. And if we can just help one person at a time, we can cause this knock-on effect that if I work with a parent, like a mother that comes to me because she wants to have more energy to be with her kids, she then imparts that wisdom onto her kids, and by that, in that kind of thinking, we're impacting the next generation. And I think that chronic health is our biggest challenge that we face in today's, you know, health sphere. And unless people like you and I and these leaders in the field and people get out there and let people know that they're not fixed and they can reclaim their health, make some noise and work with these people, then we're heading for something not good. And this life can be so beautiful, and it can be so good, and you can feel so good, and you can feel and lock and move however you want to move. And I just want people to know that they can do it, and if they need help, then you know where to find it.
And one of the things I've found too, and I think you'll agree with this, that no matter where you are, if you start today, you're going to improve your life.
Exactly.
There's no way that you will go backwards. You will go forward.
One day at a time, one foot in front of the other. We don't need you to change overnight. You just start and you will move towards health, and every day will be a blessing after that.
And if you want to get a hold of Steve Lane, you can visit his peakprimalhealth.com. And what's the phone number again?
The phone number is 516-344-7179.
See you next time, folks. Thanks a lot for sticking around.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.